All right, guys, so today is our last day of review, and then we'll have a kind of final wrap-up check-in tomorrow covering everything that we've learned about radius, diameter, circumference, area, and circle graphs. So just going to go over a couple problems today, and then you'll have a final couple questions to complete. All right, so let's jump right in. So a target has a center section that has a diameter of 35 centimeters, and a second target section that is 7 centimeters goes around the outside. What is the circumference of the outside of the second section? Okay, so what's this asking? So here's a target. Sorry, I know it's ugly. I didn't do a very good job of drawing it, but we get the idea. The center section of our target is 35 centimeters across. It has a diameter of 35 centimeters. Going around the outside of this is a second section, a second target section, and that's 7 centimeters wide. So what's the question asking us? It's asking us, what is the circumference of the outside of the second section? So what is the circumference of this section around here? Well, what's that formula that we're going to have to use? We're going to have to use the circumference formula. So circumference is pi times diameter. So I know the diameter of the inner section, but I don't know the diameter of this outer section yet, and that's what it's asking me for. So I'm asked to find the circumference of this outer section, so I need to find out what is this distance across this outer section. All right, so what that is, well, it's 35 centimeters here, and then 7 centimeters here, but notice it's also 7 centimeters over here. Okay, so to find the diameter of this outer section, I need to go all the way across, which means I need to add 7 centimeters on this side and 7 centimeters on that side. So what is that? Well, it'll be, so 7 centimeters plus 35 centimeters, that's 42. And then 42 centimeters plus the other 7 centimeters over here, that's going to be 49 centimeters. Okay, so the diameter going all the way across here, again, make sure you add it on both sides, it's going to be 49 centimeters. So now that I have that, I just sub it into my equation. So it's 3.14 times, it was 49 centimeters. Okay, and let's see what that is. 49 times 3.14 is 153.86. 153.86 centimeters. Okay, so that's the circumference of this outer section. Okay, so when you're asked a question like that, you just have to first find the diameter, multiply it by pi, and that will give you the circumference. Okay, so that's our first one. Here's our second one. We've seen a question like this before. A horse is tethered to the ground with a rope that's 11.2 meters long. What is the area the horse can graze, and what is the circumference of the area the horse can graze? Okay, so we have a horsey, and it's tethered to the ground in the center here with a rope that's 11.12 meters long. So that means it can go 11.12 meters that way, or 11.12 meters that way, or that way, or that way, anywhere around. So what this is, the distance from the inside to the outside, it can graze anywhere in what ends up being a circular area, because it can go this way, or this way, or this way, but it can only go up to that maximum space. Okay, so what we've made, we have a circular area that this horse can graze in. Okay, so what is that 11.12 meters? Well, that was this distance here, the distance from the center of the circle to the outside. So that 11.2 meters is my radius of my circle. R is 11.2 meters. Okay, so the first question asks, what is the area of the horse that the horse can graze? So what's this area that the horse can go around and eat its nice yummy grass in? Well, for that, we just use our area formula. So area is pi times radius times radius. Okay, so my radius is 11.2, so it's going to be 3.14 times 11.2 times 11.2. Okay, what is that? 3.14 times 11.2 times 11.2, and what do I get? I get 393.88, so let's just round it to 0.9. It's going to be meters squared. So there's my area of this here. But there's a second part to this question too, and that's asking, what is the circumference of the area that the horse can graze? Okay, so for that, it's asking me what's this distance around the outside. So it's asking me for circumference, so I need to use my circumference formula. Circumference is pi times diameter. Well, I don't know the diameter yet. I do know the radius. And since I know the radius, I know that the diameter is just going to be 2 times the radius. So take my radius, 11.2, times it by 2, and there's my diameter, 22.4. Now that I have that, I just sub it into my equation, 3.14 times 22.4. And what's that going to be equal to? 22.4 times 3.14. Okay, 70.336, so let's just round it to 70.3 meters. It's 70.3 meters around the outside of the area that the horse can graze in. Okay, now one last question here, looking at circle graphs. Okay, so looking at a Canucks question here. So 500 people voted for who was the Canucks' most valuable player. That was a bad sentence. Who was the Canucks' most valuable player? The results are displayed in the graph. So 35% of the votes were cast for Jacob Markstrom. 25% said JT Miller. 23% said Elias Pettersson. 10% said Bo Horvat, and 7% said Chris Tanev. Chris Tanev, whatever. And then you also might be thinking, well, what about Quinn Hughes? So whoever made this graph is out to lunch. But there's the information that we have. Okay, so taking a look at this information, who was named the MVP? Well, the MVP would be the person who got the most votes. So who got the most votes? 7, 10, 23, 20, 35%. So it was Jacob Markstrom. Okay, second question here. What 2 players make up about half the votes? Okay, well, half the votes, that would be half of the 100% it takes to make up the full circle. So half of that would be 50%. 50% is another way of saying half. So which 2 here add up to be about 50%? Well, let's see. If we take Jacob Markstrom and add him to Chris Tanev, okay, 35 plus 7, 42. Yeah, sort of, but not really close. 35 and say we added it to Bo Horvat, 10%, so 35 and 10%, 45. Well, that's getting closer. Let's see here. If we add JT Miller and Elias Pettersson, 25% and 23, so that would be 48%. That's pretty close. So that I would say it's JT Miller and Elias Pettersson because when you add them together, it's about 50%. So it would be JT Miller and Pettersson. Okay, final questions. How many votes did Bo Horvat get? Okay, well, for this one, Bo Horvat got 10% of the votes, and you got 10% of 500 people who voted. So what I need to do to find out how many votes Bo Horvat got, I need to find out what is 10% of 500. To do that, what I do is I want to find out 10% of 500, so I do 10%, again, as a decimal. So 10% as a decimal is 0.10. And I'm going to multiply that by 500. And that'll let me find out what 10% of 500 is. So 500 times 0.10 is, he got 50 votes. Okay, so Bo Horvat got 50 votes out of the 500 people voted. Okay, so that's how our problems go today. Good luck with it. I think we've been doing a really good job, so we shouldn't have too much trouble because I think you guys are all understanding well. But good luck today, and then we'll be all ready for our final check-in tomorrow.